you're leveling it up, but are your choices keeping you stuck in a rat race? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
BTG.
Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our future content. Our podcast is for those who want to go beyond the grind. My name is Kay.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Tosin. And today, we're going to be talking about something that's been bothering me a little bit. All right. Let me break it down.
What's on your mind?
Let me break it down a little bit. All right.
Just take notes on this.
I had this thought that I actually don't want to experience things I can't afford. You know, because it's like, let's use the example. I know on one of our episodes you were talking about flying business class, first class, and all that stuff.
Big
I'm
boy
always
stuff.
scared of that because if I go there and enjoy it,
You can't go back.
you can't go back.
I know the
I've got
feeling.
this pressure on myself, and I'm like, oh Lord. Now every time I fly, I need to be in business. I need to be doing this. I need to be XYZ. So I've added this extra pressure.
Is it a pressure? Or is it like the food doesn't taste the same anymore? You taste the seasoning.
It's all the
so
same.
now it's like bland.
No,
it's
but
not
it's
a pressure.
all
It's
the same.
It's just now there's no meaning to life.
It's all the same, you know. It's all the same because now I have to be able to enjoy the food,
right.
travel, the whatever. I feel like if I didn't do up to X,
You just might as well not do it.
I'm like, let me just.
So you
stay
saving
home.
money. So you saving money.
I might be, but that's really what I wanted to drop on the table here, and ask you guys, what do you think? Because
What you think, Kay? What you think?
I mean, and the wise man once said, and I think it was Jay-Z, he said,
he is wise. When I laugh at
he
you,
said, what's the word? He said, once you taste filet mignon, it's hard to go back to hamburger helper.
very good example.
It is true. You can't. It's like this. I always tell myself the goal is to keep moving forward, not backwards. But you have to be careful how you frame it. Are you moving forward because this is just something that people of your level do? Or are you moving forward because it's something that you want and you feel like it is integral to you and something that you feel like you've earned, and it doesn't have to be in everything splurge. It just splurge in the things that they give you some sort of satisfaction. I don't spend a lot of money on a whole bunch of things, but if it increases in efficiency and my happiness and contentment so I can be more productive, then yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because for me, I feel like lifestyle inflation is a real thing, especially within our circle. Yeah. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. Something that I noticed a lot of people do. So paint the scenario. Let's say you make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right.
All of a sudden, maybe because you acquired a new skill or you got a new job or whatever, but now you got a 100% raise. Now you're making $200,000.
Oh, you doing it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
now
You're not staying at the
out.
same.
You can't talk to me.
So check this out.
I need new friends.
So number one, let's say you live in a moderate 2,000 square feet home. You're paying like $2,000, $3,000. Now because you're making an extra $100,000,
I gotta get $4,000.
Now you're like, you know what? I don't want to live in Carrollton anymore. I want to go where the big boys living at. I want to go to Prosper. I want to buy a house right next to Tosin.
Right next to Tosin, right?
You get what I'm saying? So maybe you're driving your Honda.
Why are you hating on Carrollton?
They
have nice spots too.
You know what? I'm talking about moving up, anyway. So now all of a sudden, maybe you're driving a Honda Accord, or maybe you're driving that Toyota Camry, but now you feel like, you know what? I'm making $200,000 right now, so I'm gonna go get that 2026 G-Wagon.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So
gas guzzler.
So you start making decisions simply because you feel like I've arrived. Number two, you feel like the people that I have around me, I really don't like the way they move. So you change your circle. Right? And what happens when you change your circle? You start going on trips that you probably shouldn't be going to, and then your lifestyle changes, right? There's this peer pressure to continue to, live this lifestyle of just pure luxury. that you know for a fact that you can't afford. And what that does is it puts you in this place of low margin. So what do I mean by low margin? I mean that now you've put all this financial pressure on yourself that you've left no room for you to have any sort of safety,
anything
for you to be able to do anything.
So you're in the same spot you're in, if not worse.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time that when you are in a position where you've gotten access to more capital or your income has significantly increased, just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should buy it. Because if you do buy it, now you're putting yourself in a place where you're living in that lifestyle inflation.
Right. I agree to some extent. So I'm not as bougie as Tosin.
Oh Lord, really? Who's the one that be shopping out Whole Foods?
No. Look. We all have our things where we think to us is integral to our performance, right? So I think that like there are certain things that like when it comes to health, I try to prioritize that. Some people have other things. I'm not a very flashy person. You don't see me with very many accessories, right?
You mean you don't have the $1,000 suits?
No, I don't even wear suits. I wear scrubs all the time.
$1,000 scrubs?
Nah, man. But they got to be comfy and serve a purpose. So yes, if I'm gonna wear a scrub, they're gonna serve a purpose. Because I'm a firm believer in whatever helps you be efficient and optimal. To me, that's not a expense in that in the that it's not serving a purpose. This is more of an investment.
Right. Yeah.
Whole Foods to me is an investment. So it may look like a lifestyle creep, and I don't always shop at Whole Foods. I shop at other places too, but that's just one place. I don't have an HEB near me.
But here's the thing though. Before you got that raise, were you already shopping at Whole Foods? Because remember the topic here is lifestyle inflation, meaning that all of a sudden your lifestyle changes.
I always shop the same way. I always shop the same way. I just maybe DoorDashing and Instacarting it more because I'm busier. Because I'm busier. No, that's more so time. Like I don't have time to make it to the store, and like the only difference is when you have more money, instead of you looking at the sticker per whatever ounce. Weight per ounce and doing the math, you're just like, just get it. I need it. I don't have time to be doing the math.
Right.
Time is money at that point. Another thing I would say is there are certain things that regardless of how much money I have, I will get once I have that. Like some people have a vehicle that they'll always want. They'll buy that. And I'm the person who, if I want this vehicle since, forever, I've just always wanted that vehicle and it makes me happy, I'll get that vehicle. Now, am I the person who's going to get 30 vehicles? No. I'll just get that one vehicle for that reason, whether it's a land, whatever it is.
And that's okay. What you're talking about is value justification.
Justification.
So if you find value in it, yes, it's justified. And if you have that specific thing that is one off, that is not a total lifestyle change, it makes sense. But I want to ask Tosin a question.
Wait. I'm going to let him go. Okay. I wanted to get to a point. So there are times when, like you said, now you're in different circles, you're going on a guy's trip, whatever, hanging out with them, they're going on trips all the time. Sometimes, even though I don't recommend you always do that and, change your lifestyle, I think every now and then you need to make one of those moves. Because at those trips, you are getting opportunities to be around other people who may be on the trip as well and make connections. There's a reason why certain people go on trips. Oh, I met this person because he was friends with this person. They met this and that's how we started this and that. And that.
So every now and then influence you though.
Right. Every now and then you have to do it, just even if it doesn't benefit you. I'm not saying every single time, but every now and then, because I've been in those situations where I was like, friends are like, come. I'm like, nah, man, I'm like I just need to do what I need to do. I got these priorities. And I was like, I'll just go. Best trip of my life, made a lot of connections. Some of the places I ended up in later on, and even as a result of decisions I made, were from the trip, from the people I incidentally or coincidentally met on those trips.
But next week it is all right. We got another one. Come on, let's go.
Not every week. I'm like, bro,
Well,
like,
you know what? That's what I'm really
Opportunity.
talking about.
Yeah.
Really, it's going to be about balance,
Right.
Because there's those things that you don't want to fully change your lifestyle.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
maybe buying that house that you
Right.
think you can afford because you're making a lot more money, but what if that job goes? Right. So, but a trip, here and there and so on.
Exactly.
It's all about balance.
Yes.
Right. You can experience those things. And I wouldn't really call that a lifestyle
Right.
inflation.
Yes.
Right. Because we talked about,
Look at the opportunity cost.
yeah.
Right.
Because the value in that may be way more than the cost that you're spending.
Correct.
Right.
But then there's some other things that we have to look at from somebody else's perspective. Maybe it's that car that you're talking about that, hey, you're going to buy that car
Right.
that is your dream car or whatever. To us, it might not be justified, when we look at the value of it, but to somebody else, they're like, hey, I wanted to reward myself.
Right.
I've been
Patient.
making sure
Right.
I stay in my, let's example, 1,500 square foot house.
Right.
But this car was something I wanted to be rewarded
Which is justifiable.
Right.
with. Right.
Because from a value perspective, this is going to boost your morale. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yes.
I'm happy every day.
I'm happy driving what I want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I guess where I'm going with this is a 360 lifestyle
Where it's
change.
still, the car or the house,
Yeah.
this, the
Those,
that.
those are the things I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
I don't want to experience.
I think for me, what prevented that is I set mental goals for me to be able to do this. If I finally buy this car that costs this amount, I have to be making this amount. And then if I want to move into a bigger house or whatever, what is the benefit? This is the benefit, yada, 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 or I just want it for whatever equity. I have to be making this amount, or I have to have this much disposable income. So that as I add the things that I may or may not need or want, whatever, I will be good. I'll be able to sustain it so it doesn't go, my expenses don't exceed my new gain in income,
I think
so to
it's
speak.
also maybe not spending emotionally. We have to be calculated in everything we do, whether as
happens,
entrepreneurs, aspiring employees, or whatever. You didn't get to that increase just by chance, right? You're probably putting a lot of hard work to it. So therefore, when you are spending, when you are looking at that lifestyle creep, it also has to be just as calculated as the work that was able to get you there.
I have a question for you. And before I ask that question, I want to give you this context because I was watching a documentary on ESPN. It's called 30-30.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of athletes that went broke, right?
Yeah, that's a lot
Now,
of
these are athletes that they probably came from the projects. They had no financial literacy, didn't know how to manage their money. Overnight, they became millionaires. And
that's hard.
they just blew their money.
And they're
right?
young too.
Right.
Yes,
So,
and they're young.
And this is
Can't imagine
what the
it.
real, lifestyle inflation that I want to talk about, where you go from 0 to 100 really
Down to
quickly,
zero.
right? Even though they know that they shouldn't, the reality, they know they shouldn't because they know that nothing is forever. They still,
But that's also
participate.
why,
They still
right?
participate in those things. So the question that I have for you is, and maybe you can chip into, why do you think people participate in lifestyle inflation, even though they know that what they currently have, the opportunity that they currently have, isn't going to last forever?
I think if you use the example of the athletes, right? I think it's multifaceted. Yes, they do, buy the lavish stuff, dress up, whatever, all that good stuff. They do spend the money on themselves. But I think a lot of times it's going to be the people around them that also help them spend that money.
Yeah.
For one reason or the other, whether it's you're trying to take care of everybody, because like you said, we came up from a poor situation, less than average situation. So therefore, when one person makes it, we all made it. We all made it.
Remember that, bro. Remember that.
Hey,
And remember that. When you make it, we made it.
we all made it. So therefore, that person has the burden of the quote unquote village to take care of, whether it's their parents, friends, longtime friends. These are not just people they just met today. No, these are families and friends that they've probably had throughout their careers supporting them.
So they feel
Maybe there was that friend that was supposed to make it into the pros with me, but got injured back in high school, but now he's with me, been supporting me, knows the struggle, and now, hey, we made it.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. Alan, let's bring it down to folks, our audience, an ambitious employee. Like the example that I gave. Maybe you're making 100,000, you've gotten you've been able to double your income. Like, why do you think people sometimes feel the need to essentially participate in that lifestyle inflation?
I mean, it really boils down to two things. He already mentioned some of them, but I want to go a different direction, which is mainly, like you said, they know in the back of their head that this moment nothing lasts forever. So it's like,
wouldn't that be why you should be a little bit more conservative?
So for them, if we flip it, that's why we don't know when this is going to end. So we got to enjoy this. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like they have a short-term mindset, like there's no, and instead of gratification. Yeah. Instead of like having the mindset, that's why it's hard for a lot of people to make it when they get wealthy. Instead of having the mindset of like, okay, we're here. This is, instead of like, I guess because a lot of people have planned what they're going to do when they get there, and that was the goal. Instead of this is the beginning, right? We just unlocked the next level. We got further to go. They see this as the end, like we made it. And so there's no ecosystem, and they've never been there. Yeah. So you've never been here. You've never had this money. You think this is like just it. You don't realize like I got to manage this and plan for the next level. So it's kind of like a mentality of like, yeah, we made it here. This was an easy, was a hard goal, whatever. I can do more. And I think that's something that we may always be thinking of, like, because we don't know what our potential is. At least I don't. So I'm always like striving. Once I break through it, I'm like, oh, I'm here. Well, what's ahead of here? Like, and some people don't think that. They're like, I made it to the league. I'm a baller. Everybody loves me. And everybody around you is telling you, yo, you made it. Dude, you did it. Relax, bro. Let's go out. Like, you made it. Why you working so hard? You here. Well, and so that's just an example of like, athletes, but it happens to non-athletes too, where it's like, yeah, I got the money now. Let me invite my friends over, throw parties. And typically a lot of those people, sad to say, when the money goes, they go too. So now,
here's the reality. Confession time. So I have actually participated in lifestyle inflation before, but I had a strategy behind it. Because here's the reality. You're going to have stages in your life where you might need to make a 360 change, right? Just because you're at that level. But how you go about it matters a lot. Number one thing that I did was delay the experience by buying leverage. So what do I mean by that? I had some sort of savings account. Like I had a target amount that I needed to have in my account for me to feel some sort of safety. Number two, what type of assets do I have from stocks and bond perspective? Also, another thing that I thought about, I had a life insurance policy that guarantees that should I lose my job, it's going to pay me for at least 1 year just to give me that buffer. Does that make sense? I think, because we're not really saying that making a 360 change in your life is a bad thing. What we're saying is that if you do want to make that change, what are the things that you're putting around, to make sure that
protection,
there's safety? Yeah. Because the reality is delayed gratification buys peace.
Right. I mean, I just think Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law?
Which
share with our folks.
Like anything, what is it? Anything can have anything. How do I word this? What's the exact definition? Someone help me with that.
Or is it the
Murphy's Law?
Anything that. Can you help me with this? Because I
brought it up.
No. I have to put it in words. All right, basically, anything that can happen will happen. Like it's like basically anything bad that can happen will happen. It's kind of how the it has been
So
taken to
Murphy's
me.
law says, it says that anything that can go wrong,
Will happen.
go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the Murphy's law, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, I think like basically what goes up must come down, right?
Yep.
Newton's law, right? And so like if when I make plans, I don't make plans based on the best case scenario. I plan out, the worst case scenario. And that's where I start my plan at. That's the base level. Like, okay, worst case scenario, am I prepared to handle this? Okay, I am. Then you can go crazy because that's the potential. At minimum, you need to be able to handle that. So if you get a $200K, a year, go from 100 to 200K after taxes. Let's say after taxes, for simple math. That's roughly, what is that, like 18K a month or something like that? Yeah, 18K a month. So that means, to me, you need to at least have 6 months to a year's of saving. So if you don't have that much to cover your bill, basically you should be saving minimum 4K a month. Anything else you want to lifestyle creep, you can lifestyle creep. So you should be putting away money. And if I go from making 10K net to 200K or 18K net or whatever, or what is it, 8K net to 18K net or whatever, then what I'm doing is immediately putting all my retirement funds, putting my life insurance, max those out, what the government will allow me to max out. Then whatever is left out, if I end up having like 3K left, that's my lifestyle creep. That's what I'm creeping with. I'm not creeping with all of it unless I'm trying to make an investment for my future. It doesn't make sense to me to go splurge and show off for who? Like, those people are going to be gone when you're broke. That's right. Like, for who?
I actually wanted to say this. What do you call somebody that's worth over $100 million? Do you guys know?
A high net worth.
Okay, well, we'll just go with that, right? I met a person like that, right? And I saw that, they were just constantly spending and splurging. So I asked them, I said, from my understanding, this asset, this worth is your asset. So it's not something that's liquid that you can just, spend crazy. So how are you doing it?
It's an expensive.
And you know what they said? He said, unlike a W-2 person, he said, when I go to the bank, all I'm doing is leveraging my asset because I'm worth over $100 million. He said, if I ask the bank for $1 million, even $10 million,
right?
He said the bank is just going to look at it as a safety loan.
Yeah.
And he said that I never have to pay it back because let's say the banks give me, I don't know, $10 million for 10 years. He said 10 years from now, maybe my $100 million is now worth 150 or 200 million.
So they're like, he's good.
And the bank just give you another 10 million and just keep going like that. So I say that to say that the people that you see that you're trying to compare yourself with,
they're not in the same.
They're not in the same.
They're not in the same room.
They're not in the same category.
Right.
So you're spending,
that's your real money.
You're spending $10,000 on a trip, and you have $3,000 left in your bank account.
Right.
They're spending $10,000 on a trip, and they have millions and millions of dollars in their bank account.
And they didn't touch their account. Right. They're running monopoly money.
They're leveraging their money.
Right.
So I think people should always also have that mindset when they're comparing themselves to the Joneses.
No, that's a very great example. Like, you can't compare yourself to anybody else.
No, except for you.
You don't know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on.
Maybe that person that you see is balling, they're balling on credit cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just a house of cards.
Or credit card fraud.
So I know someone who's always like balling because their great grandfather had made a lot of money in real estate, sold everything, not everything, half the assets, invested the other assets into life insurance policy.
Yeah.
See?
So there's only 4 of them, like a couple of people passed and whatnot. There's only 4 grandkids or great grandkids left. And the net assets is 100 million between all 4 of them.
See?
She, the other ones are like babies. So she's like invested hers. She doesn't even work. Husband makes like about 200 a year. He's like, we're not even touching her stuff. We just pay bills off of my stuff, let her stuff grow. And T-bill rates. Like, you know, when you got like 20 mil, like doing nothing, they haven't even touched it. He's like, we bought our house cash and they go and spend whatever. And she's got a couple of businesses that she took out a loan to, again, she leveraged. She leveraged because he has a lot of stock assets.
Yeah.
So she leveraged it a percentage, you know, because you can borrow, what is 70% of it?
Yeah.
And so she hasn't touched that money. She started a business, leveraged it. Is every time they go out, we're like, man, she's spending. My friend was like, you got to keep up with them. And I'm like,
No, you don't.
she's expensing all this. She borrowed. It's not even.
She got $20 million in the bag.
Well, he was like, he didn't know that. Nobody knew. And she's like a regular person like you and me. You wouldn't even know unless you knew them closely.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I broke it down. I was like, she has 20 million in the bank, right?
Yeah.
It's just trust fund bank. She has other business. This is just her cash, like cash or liquid assets, not like the real estate. So she has other real estates. And then she's opened other businesses using fake money. And she's expensing. What she's spending going out now is an expense to her business that was made by fake money. So don't look at, which is generating money. And I'm like, do you understand? She got money from something, didn't touch anything, and is expensing it out from that. And I was like, and this is a loan, mind you. So obviously they're not paying taxes on, unless it's the interest, correct?
Well,
so exactly. But it's just, I'm like, don't even try it. They were like, what?
You can't compare.
You don't know. And if you see, this girl is like barely, well, that was back then. So she's probably like 30 now. You wouldn't even know. She's graduating college as a regular person, like doing regular stuff. And you're just like, oh, I got to keep up with her. They're going to this. They're going to that. They're going to this.
You're looking on Instagram. You just swipe, oh, they're here this month. They're there.
She's not even famous like that. She's so quiet about her wealth. Only reason I know is that her husband happens to be the best friend of someone I know. And he just told me, I was like, what? That's like, oh, okay.
So I know I kind of gave a couple of tips about what I did, you know, when I wanted to dip into lifestyle inflation. But, you know, for folks out there, can you guys kind of give them a few tips on, you know, that person that is hustling, that's making good money, but their choices is keeping them stuck in the rat race? Like, what can they do to make sure that they reverse that and get out of the rat race?
I think they have to start off first by having a long-term mindset, right? You need to build that foundation. Alan talked about it, like if he was to get that boost, right? There are some things that he's going to make sure to max out and cover before even looking towards that lifestyle creep. Those are the types of long-term mindset that people need to have.
Yes.
Rather than, hey, just because I make more money, I need this. No. First things first, there are probably some holes where you're at currently, right? And if you're not thinking about it long term, how much are you really saving? How much are you putting away for retirement? How much are you investing? How much are you putting into life insurance and all these different type of support net systems that may be around you? How much are you doing all of those things first? Think long term.
So it sounds, before you go to the second one, it sounds like they need to book a consultation strategy with Kay.
Tricked you, huh?
Yeah, Kay and I are both licensed, you know, for life insurance. Looking out for it.
All right, what's the second one?
Secondly, you have to look at the value of whatever you're about to invest
that's what
in.
I was gonna say.
I'll call it about it invested, right? Because not everything is going to be of value to everybody else. But why are you trying to buy XYZ? Why are you trying to creep your lifestyle into that next level?
Yes.
Because some people, you might just be fine in a 1,500 square foot home. You don't need that 6,000 square foot home.
It's definitely the peers.
It might just be you, right? Hey, it's okay.
Yeah.
You have to be confident in, well, maybe this is the third one, which is just be content, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us, it could be social media, it could be peer pressure, it could be whatever it is out there, but not many of us are living in contentment, right? We're always looking at, you know, hey, if that person, and we might not be saying it out loud.
Yeah.
It's just something in the back of our minds as we're scrolling and we're seeing, you know, this person got a new car, that person is celebrating a new house, that person is celebrating a new baby, whatever it is, right? There might be those things that just put these thoughts in our head that say, hey, I deserve XYZ. I am supposed to be here. And that is what usually will cause you to have that lifestyle.
See, the reality is that contentment is definitely where you find true happiness, and delayed gratification is where you buy peace. So I definitely agree with you.
It's hard to be honest. I think contentment takes maturity. If you're lucky enough to grow up in a household that they teach you that, then it's something that you can revert to. But a lot of us don't have, or a lot of people in general don't have household where there's contentment, right?
Yeah.
Their parents are always, you know, working hard to do this. They're always looking to get better and better and better. Because I mean, that's America, right?
Yeah.
Or to build a better life
build a
for
better,
your
better.
children
Nothing
too,
is
right?
good enough, right? So you can, I think as parents, the responsibility is to teach your children to be content while striving for more, right? So when is enough, right? So I think that's a separate discussion, a separate topic,
Be
another
content
episode.
while creating some sort of
Right.
surplus.
So I think another thing is understanding. I think the biggest thing is, although social media may play a role in influencing us, what influences us the most is what we want and what our friend or peer groups are doing. So if everyone's going to, hey, Alan, come on, hey, let's go. We're doing this, we're doing that. You're like, oh, I don't know. Nah, man, come on. Oh, no. So I can't live in this broke apartment if my friends are all in these high rises, right? Because then I'm the broke boy. And then you don't get no girls, right? You're the broke boy, right?
You're
No,
in a
I'm just
different
saying,
lane.
this is the mentality that people have, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I said it takes maturity and understanding, like, what is the goal? I actually was watching this thing where this person was saying that, you know, he spent 2 years not doing anything. Like, he didn't go out once. I was like, oh my gosh. And everyone went out every Friday night. He was home. His project was to buy a lot of used cars, bought a ton of used cars, started leasing it to like Uber, Lyft drivers for whatever. He was like, my goal was to buy this many in the next 2 years. He had like a fleet of like, every money, cause he got a raise, like you said. Every time he got money, $6,000, bought a new car. $6,000, got a, like, so by the end of 2 years, he had like 20 cars. He's making real money off those 20 cars from renting them and whatnot. And, you know, at the end of the day, he ended up taking that money, started buying real estate. 5 years later, he's like, yeah, I'm like, I got like $500,000 in the bank. Like, I'm ready to make big boy moves. And his friends were like, how you get here? I wish I could have. He was like, you could have. You were out here in these streets.
I'm gonna drop another gem and then I'll let you round up really quickly. I think another key piece that we probably haven't talked about is the importance of setting a vision for yourself. Once you set that vision, what are the principles and guidelines that are going to help you make decisions, right? A lot of times when we don't have principles on how we make decisions, typically we fall for anything. We're just going by whatever comes through, right? And once you're able to set those principles, then it makes it quite easy for you to set your goals. When you have your vision, when you have your principles, when you have your goals set up, it's very hard for you to participate in anything that you haven't planned for. Close us out, Alan.
Yeah, so today we've talked about being content, not getting caught up in a lifestyle creep and inflation, and being setting goals, long-term goals versus short-term goals, and having long-term mindset. So you're not stuck in the here and now and just letting the creep come up real fast. Kind of have a sequential and a strategic way to get to that level which you want. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and drop us a like, follow, and subscribe. Again, we hope that you share this. Drop a comment if you have anything to talk about.
Man, we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We read the comments and it's looking real dry right now. So y'all need to get us some stuff so we can discuss, hear what y'all really
But where can they find us then?
They can find us at GoBeyondTheGrind.com. Yes.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
To make strategic decisions and take calculated risks. We'll also talk about future-proofing your business. on this journey together to build a life and a business that works for you, so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Let's